Hi Aries, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this week, for your key to the week, you have the Hermit card. So it's going to be a relatively low-key week for you guys, all right? Remember, the Hermit card is always about, in some respect, this is about withdrawing from the world. And very often when I see this card, it always makes me think that there's something that your intuition or something that life, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is trying to get across to you. Which means this is going to be a quieter week. It's going to be a week where you are a bit more pensive, and it could be a week as well where you're going within to gather more energy, to gather more strength for something else that you are trying to push on with. I know you Aries people are definitely going to be out of the gate soon as well. I kind of feel like that whatever it is that you've been working on behind the scenes, or whatever it is that you've been prepping, you are getting to that point now where you're ready to kind of unleash it onto the world. So let's have a look at your actions and options. You have the Four of Pentacles. So not only are you preserving your energies and trying to really feel your way through things, it looks like this week you're very focused on your finances, on your money, on your materials. It looks like you're very focused on your material experience of life. So a lot of you could be either opening up either opening up a savings account. Maybe you are looking at the savings or the funds that you've got and what you can do with those. You could be paying a lot of attention this week as well to where it is that you, not where it is that you're bleeding money, but where it is that you're, maybe your funds are tied to someone or something else. And, maybe this week you could be saying, you know what, it's no longer a viable option. So this could see you really paying attention to the money this week for a select few of you as well, because it's the Hermit card. Next to, the Hermit card is there. This could be you if you have IBS, if you have any stomach problems, any digestive problems. This could be maybe some sort of a flare-up this week, and if that is the case, this will see you really paying attention to what you eat, to what you're holding on to. It will, especially on a mental level, on a stress level and stuff, this could see you really paying attention to all of those things. So keep that in mind. For your communications and conversations, you have the Justice card. You have the Chariot card. Sorry. So it's interesting because it looks like there is going to be a lot of fast and furious communication this week, and it's interesting as well because you've got the Four of Pentacles there. So it looks like a lot of the actions and the options that you're taking are to really look at the budget and the finances. And then the Chariot card is basically saying once you've made that decision, or once you've made a decision, you're then sort of gathering the information, but it looks like you're moving on very, very quickly. So as I said to you earlier, I feel like you guys are already, it's kind of like you've already got something in place. You're now just checking the details, going over the fine print and making sure that you've done the calculations for everything as best as you possibly could. But I really do feel probably by the time we get to about Thursday this week, actually, I feel like you're just going to kind of zoom ahead, which is really nice. And then for your money and materials, you've got the Five of Cups. So this is not a great week for money. Finances look like they could be a little bit of a challenge this week. It does feel like you are either having to shell out for something that you hadn't expected, or something that maybe isn't necessarily your responsibility. Because it comes off the back of the Chariot card, though, I believe whatever financial issues or hardships you have this week will be short-lived, but it is something that you need to pay attention to. When it comes to your health, especially underneath the Four of Pentacles, this is not a week to overindulge with alcohol. It's not a week to overindulge with foods that you can't eat because your diet or your body doesn't allow it. This is a week where, if you go overboard with things that your body doesn't already agree with, this week you could really pay for it. So please, please, please be conscious of that. When it comes to the home and the home environment as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like you are going to have some news that comes from a distance that could be a little bit upsetting. It's just something that you really want to be aware of this week. I'm really sorry to say that. I wish I could give you a brighter message, but I don't feel like there is one in that regard. For your love and relations, you have the Two of Cups. So love looks good this week, right? For those of you that are single, for those of you that are partnered, your love life or your potential love life looks grand. I mean, when it comes to for those of you that are single, this is right underneath the Chariot card. So in the process of some sort of journey, maybe connecting with somebody at a distance, you could be meeting somebody, you could be connecting with somebody. And remember, the Two of Cups is a great card for relationships because it's that potential. And then for those of you that are, okay, I've lost that. For those of you that are partnered, the Two of Cups kind of says that this week, it looks like some sort of loss that happens either to do with the collective home or to your personal home. It's kind of like this week, one of you is you're going to be getting some challenging news this week, but rather than it kind of create any tension, it's actually only going to serve to bring you closer together and to make your relationship stronger. So that's the really good news about this, right? Whatever it is that you're facing this week, especially if you're partnered, you won't be facing it alone. And it's the same for those of you that are single. Whatever news you get this week, there will be support that comes from the outside world. So this could be, you know, family, it could be friends, it could be your support network or your people. So that's nice, right? That's really good news in that respect. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, it looks like a bit of not only a mixed bag this week, but it does feel like there are going to be some challenges for you for this week ahead as well. How you get past them, how you get through them is obviously up to you. But remember, with that Hermit card as the key to the week, the big message here is for you to really go within. The more you listen to whatever is taking place on the internal level, the further ahead you're going to be able to get. And you know, sometimes what we hear on the internal is not necessarily what we want to hear. Sometimes we know what we have to do, but we ignore it. And that's why we defer to other people, because we think, oh, you know, if somebody else knows, they'll come up with something different. If you're hearing the same answer to a specific question over and over from various different sources, and they're all giving you the same sort of information, we can't all be wrong, right? You know, that's why I say when you hear the same word, the same phrase, the same message 3 times in a row, or it comes from different people, or you know, people that don't know each other both say the same thing to you, there is a message there for you. Pay attention to it. All right, and also on the 3rd of August, we have, you know, right out of the gate, we've got that big August Aquarius full moon, which I'm very excited about personally. So that's taking place in especially if you're an ascendant. So for things like this, for full moon transits, I always go by the ascendant. So if you are an ascendant Aries, the full moon is going to be taking place in your 11th house. This is all to do with groups, it's all to do with benefactors. This could in some way, shape or form as well, especially with what comes up here. You know, if there is some sort of a loss, it could be, you know, especially when it comes to money, it could be something that comes to you in that regard, you know, something financial that is attached, you know, some boost to the finances that is great, but is attached to some sad or some heavy news. For, you know, the other part of this as well, it's about the wider society, it's about your friends, the people that you're attached to, the people that can be good for you. And a full moon there puts a highlight on that, it puts a spotlight on it, it's kind of opening it up. This is the full potential, right? The full moon is a time to make wishes. So when it comes to your friends, your benefactors, the groups that you're associated with, the gains of your business or your work or your career, if you have one, this is where you see all of those things. So if there's something you've wanted to see from or in your career, make a wish for it on the 3rd of August, and you may very well just have it granted. So yeah, that is what I've got for you this week. I truly hope that it resonates with you. I truly hope that it helps you in some way, shape or form. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Take care, and I will see you soon.